Let's start the show.
Start, okay? Everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Zugzwang.
Woo! Ric Flair. Yeah.
So,
Excited.
basically,
Yo, what does it mean? What does it mean?
so Zugzwang is basically me and Saar decided on this as the name of the podcast. By the way, my name is Elliot Breslav, and this is my compatriot.
Sorry, Yona.
And we decided on this name because it's a chess tactic in German that essentially puts the other individual in not the best position and forces them to do something. And we believe that with all the craziness going on in the world right now and just what our generation has had to live through, because we're in that little in-between between millennials and Gen Z, where within 21 years, we've already lived through 9/11, the 2008 financial crisis, and now Corona. And we're living through new events every single day in this crazy world. And we feel forced to get our opinions out and our ideas out to the public and just to whoever wants to listen, whoever cares. That's why we feel forced, and we chose the name Zugzwang because we're not in the best position. Obviously, after 9/11, I don't think people are too happy. And
Definitely not.
yeah,
Neither were airports.
I don't think people were just put in bad positions, and we've been put in bad positions. Obviously, we've been super blessed with our lives.
Of course.
But these are just troubles that we've lived through, and we feel forced to get our opinions out through this.
But we also don't want this to be too serious. We want to have fun. We want to have good conversations, talk about random stuff, current events, whatever's going on, whatever we think about, anything in the moment, not in the moment. Let's just get it. Let's start this shit. I'm so excited. It's been a long time in the making, long time in the waiting. Corona season. It's time to go, baby.
Yo,
yeah!
Corona season, boys. So let's start off with this, the latest current event. The latest crazy crap that's been going on for the past 2.5 months.
Yes, sir.
The coronavirus.
Coronavirus. Oh my God.
What have you been up to, man? I know you've been biking. What else?
Biking, bro. I've just been going out for miles, like whenever I can, because I can't deal with my parents anymore. My sister, craziness. My brother and I keep each other sane in this household, and it's been tough. I just need that like half hour to like hour and a half alone, just zoned in music, and I'm just pumping. I see people. I don't even say hi. I'm zooming. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to bike. But yeah, other than that, playing some FIFA, video games, whatever. Started working a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
Yo, that sounds, it really is. It's just right now is the best time for us to work on ourselves, either through exercise, like you said,
exactly,
biking, spending time with your brother.
Of course. I don't get to see him that much anymore, especially now. We're both at college. The first time we've had both of us at home consistently in 4 years since I graduated.
3 years.
Now he's also gone. So my sister's next. Like, bro, it's been interesting. It's definitely been.
It's wild. I didn't want to get into it right away, but how do you think that your relationship with your brother has changed since he's entered college and now with Corona going on? Because I think it's something we've all been dealing with because we're all home now and our siblings are home that we usually we're used to seeing for the first 17, 18 years of our lives every single day. And now we haven't seen them at all for months. And now we see them again every single day, every single hour of every day.
Well, we're super close. Me and Razi, that's my guy. We just call some butt. We're out here. We're just doing stuff. We're watching TV shows. We're playing video games together. And then other than that, we each spend some time alone. We're doing this. He has a podcast, AOTFF Productions. Shout out. Yeah, but I don't think the dynamic has changed too much, honestly. I think the only thing that's a little different is that he calls shake loose, which is the wildest thing I've ever heard.
I've heard that before. I've heard
Really?
shake being called loose, loose
I
leaf even, like stuff like that. I've heard, but it's usually shake.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, right? Like that's a consistent like baseline. Everybody, you're just like, oh, the shakes, and everybody's like, oh, I get it. I know what this is. He said loose to me one day, and I was like, what? What's
Like,
loose out here? Like,
loosey goosey.
yeah, what? What is that? But no, like the only things are like small things like that, like just slight differences. Just because he goes to school in Maryland, and I'm
Yeah.
still in New York, we got bro, I mean, Binghamton is just basically Long Island, so I just continued being Long Island.
It's
Um,
not, but Binghamton, there's a lot of individuality and choices compared to Long Island,
for sure, for sure.
which
It's
is great.
it's yeah, there's definitely some variability in the type of people, but at the same time, it's like the same sorts of people we saw in high school, like growing up,
Yeah,
ever since we were kids. Like it's the same types of people who grew up in a very similar or even basically the same way that we grew up and went through our entire like young adult, adolescent, like teenage, like whatever you want to call it, that
yeah,
part of our lives, they've all been through it in basically the same way. And it's
that's good.
like, of course, there are different people. There are definitely variations, but in general, at Maryland, you have a school of like 30,000 plus student. Like, you could meet someone who's very very similar to you, and then the same interaction meet the next person who's very very different. And I think that's given him a little bit more perspective than me, at least, and he's been able to see like vast differences between people who grew up in our little Long Island,
Yeah,
little Westchester, like the city bubble, and then people who grew up in all different types of places, like all different backgrounds. He has a lot of friends from DC, and like I don't
well,
think I know a single person who lives in DC. Like, you know,
I mean, bro, Bud's legal there, so you gotta head down
facts,
there and
gotta
make some
go,
friends.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Listen, Trump's out here. Ooh.
Oh yeah, man, he got smoke a bogey.
Yeah, big
Smoke
snipes
one
in the
later.
White House.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's just a skunk. I swear, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh? Bro, that's like my excuse every time.
it's a skunk.
Oh my god. Who's out here?
Recorded, I swear. But that's one thing with Binghamton. I do feel like I've seen, at least, because I've went to visit a couple of times.
Of
A lot of
course.
friends up there, including you, obviously, and a lot of people do have the same socioeconomic background,
Hmm.
which allows you to meet new people and make a lot of connections, which is great
Of course.
because you know that these people are all smart. Like Binghamton is a great school. You know that you're going places. Their business school is great. Their engineering school is great. Their science programs are great.
Facts.
So you know that the people you're meeting are smart. But the one thing is the variability in the socioeconomic status of the people and how they grew up, and their values are usually very similar, but that doesn't give you a lot of perspectives. Like one thing that I noticed, I went to Baruch College and I just graduated. Yeah, man,
Graduated.
I got my Zoom graduation. I can't wait to press enter and walk down the virtual aisle.
Exactly. That's
But
big.
yeah, I actually need to send them a video of how to pronounce my name.
Really?
Yeah, so
Oh, they're definitely gonna fuck it up. They're
yeah,
definitely gonna
they,
fuck
they
it up.
fuck up everyone's name. But yeah, so one thing that I've definitely seen with Baruch is that we get people from everywhere across the world.
Of
Like you
course.
met my friend, I don't want to name drop right now, and I don't know if he's comfortable, but from Nigeria, he slept over at your place. Where like have you met anyone else from Nigeria?
Never.
Exactly. I
Like
know two
not
people.
straight from. I mean, I know people whose like families came from there, but I've
Yeah,
never met like straight up a person from there. It definitely is like that. I mean, we have a lot of people who come from like the Far East. Like
yeah,
we have a lot of Chinese students, a lot of Korean students who come straight from those countries because they
oh
are
yeah,
trying to get an education in the United States. They're trying to better themselves in a place that's not their home. And I think that's also super interesting, like being able to leave your home country every year for 4 years, maybe even not go back for the 4 years.
Yeah.
And the types of connections and relationships you can build with people like that is definitely the place I've found the most perspective and most like difference when it comes to people I've met throughout my college experience. It's been interesting though. I'm so hyped to graduate next
Yeah.
semester though. Yeah.
Got one semester left, boy. That's it.
Yeah.
But
You got no semesters left. It's big.
well, I'll be hopefully going to law school for the next
Yeah,
3 years.
facts.
Just gotta decide on one, and commit. But you mentioned students coming from China, so let's just tie it back to Corona.
Of
Were these
course.
students wearing masks, or like were they prepared since January?
So I definitely think so. I remember seeing people with masks, and my friends and I would walk by, and they'd start walking like take a step further, like to get like a foot or two further away from us or something like that. And I just remember seeing that, and I remember thinking like, this is weird. Like in the past like 2.5 years that I've been here, like that's never happened to me before. I've never had to like watch a person do that while seeing me walk towards them with like a group of friends or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just found it really weird at first, and then it was February and even more people are wearing masks, and I started going, is something going on here?
Yeah,
And
but
then we got to March, and oh my god, it was just
it was
clipped.
crazy. No, it was because story I've been telling you, which I just think is nuts, is I remember first week of school, January, it's last week of January, and I was in the soccer office and I was talking to the coach, and he has kids who help him out. He has students who just help him out and stuff. And one of them, he hired a kid who is from China. And he came first day already, mask, gloves,
Wow.
set up, and we were just asking him like, why are you wearing this stuff? Like, what's going on? Should we be scared of something? And he's like, yo, you guys have 2 months, month and a half max, and this crazy virus is gonna pull up and it's just gonna kill everyone. It's gonna just go through the entire country. The economy's gonna be down. Everything's gonna blow up, and school's gonna be closed. And we told him, "You're crazy. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
this has never happened. It's been 100 years since this shit has happened. So it's just absurd to think that 2 months later, it's weird to think that life was normal 2 months ago.
Right. Yeah. Think about it. 2 months ago, you went to the grocery store, no mask, you'd interact with people. Maybe you even bumped into a lady
Yeah.
while walking down the aisle by accident. Now, bro, imagine bumping into a lady right now. The bitch fit that would be thrown in any supermarket by any person
Great.
you touch. And it's crazy. Like, I mean,
you can't even, when you're waiting online to get into the grocery store, which I've never seen in my life before.
Me neither.
But we have to do this now. It's becoming the norm. If you are not 6 feet apart from them, it's a fucking bitch fit. People are like gonna start trying to fight you. It's gonna be crazy. But you have to respect that, and it's a good thing with grocery stores, especially like the elderly hour they have now.
I think that's the most amazing thing that they implemented so far, because they really, like, listen, of course we're young, we're not in high risk group other than smokers, but we're not really in like at all, like neither of us has an autoimmune disease, neither of us has any pre-existing conditions that might promote coronavirus in us and cause us to be more likely to die from the addition of coronavirus into the body. However, of course, anybody who's older than 50 should be worried. They shouldn't be extreme and never speak to anyone and never see anyone, all that. But when I go biking, I see like older couples walking together, and they have their masks, and I bike without a mask because it's not necessary. I'm not interacting with anyone. I'm not stopping. I'm not talking. There's nothing going through my mind other than let's get these miles.
It's also how are you going to breathe while you're biking 25
Straight
miles.
up, straight up. When
With a
you're going
mask.
on a walk, when you're going on a nice walk, you're a 70-year-old couple, you're going on a nice walk, absolutely keep that mask on. Don't take it off. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth even the potential slight risk
Yeah.
of corona is not worth not wearing a mask. However, if you're young, if you're not worried about it because you're not really in any high risk category, I think it's about time maybe to start experimenting. People are going to go back to their jobs. Nobody can remain like this in this economy right now, especially because, the economy is has been and is going to continue going down. And now, people just have to do something. They have to do something. They have to support their families. They have to make sure that the people they love are going to be cared for through this virus. And now especially is the time to start seeing jobs come back, people go back to work, younger people start taking more leadership roles in their families, start maybe not becoming the breadwinners of their family, but start making that extra money, helping out. Exactly. It's a very important time, and I think this is a turning point in history.
Turning point in history, we're going to have to see how we're going to interact. Like, they're talking about handshakes not being normal after this, which I think is a little bit extreme, but we need to see what's going to go on. I personally think that 2020, I'm not saying it's dead, but I'm saying that it is going to be a very weird year compared to everything in the past. But I do think by 2022, that the majority of things that we do on an everyday basis, like 3-4 months ago, we're going to be doing again.
I agree.
Certain things. One thing that I was thinking about was, I know, I was eating dinner and a piece of chicken fell on the table. So usually I'm like, oh, my mom cleaned the table before. I'm eating with my family. It's not gross if I just eat it off the table. 4 months ago, I'll be like, yeah, it's fine. Now I'm like, oh, it was cleaned half an hour ago, but that doesn't mean it's clean now. I need to be careful. It's just things I'm thinking of. Again, I think it's great for clubs and bars. People will never put their drink down again. Think of it like that. Because first off, with the whole date rape drugs and everything, you put your drink down, you're screwed. It doesn't matter if you're a guy, girl, you have to be super, super, super careful, especially in New York City. And now I feel like people won't even think about putting their cup down because you don't even know. It's not even date rape drug at this point. It's what if someone spits in your drink? Or
what if someone picks up your drink, accidentally puts it back down, and you drink from it again?
Exactly.
People are going to become so much more, I think, germophobic.
Yes.
Maybe not 100% germophobes, but this is going to push people who previously went about their lives, did not care. It didn't even worry them at all. And now they're going to go through their lives and be like, well, I'm going to wear gloves while pumping gas. Yeah. I'm going to wear a mask when I do specific activities. Yeah. And that's just a reality that I think we're going to have to deal with in the coming year and a half.
Yeah.
I really, really hope that it doesn't drag along until 2022. I think that would be.
I think certain values will. I don't see how they won't. I do think that clubs, for example, how are you going to open up a club? You can't. You're literally sweating on top of 20 other people at a club.
Yeah, but young people have never let that stop them before, and I think they're not going to let it stop them in the future.
We've never had something like this. True. We've never had an event that you don't even know if you have the symptoms of this deadly disease till 9 to 14 days after. So you won't even know if you're sick. You could be 100% healthy, go to a club, be healthy, think you're healthy, but carry this disease, and all of a sudden 20 people you were grinding on are all sick now with corona, and possibly their parents are going to get sick, and their friends, and the rest of their family.
Yep, and that's the danger. That's the real danger of the virus. The real danger is not the fatality rate, because honestly, the fatality rate is a joke. The average age of death is higher than the regular average age of death in the United States.
I think
which
it's
is
worldwide. I think this is like a
really
worldwide stat. Yeah.
that's even more ridiculous. But the average age of death being lower worldwide than it is from corona really does go to
Yeah.
show that there is a specific group that's more at risk.
Yeah.
And I think that that group is going to have to decide, I guess, as a group. I don't know how they're going to make this decision, but I think it'll be something that's going
They
to
just
be
need to be
dealt with.
safer. They need to stay inside more. The over 50-year-old group just needs to be more cautious, and immunocompromised group needs to be very, very cautious. Doesn't matter what age. You mentioned earlier that smokers are going to be susceptible to susceptible. Yeah, I said it right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
To this disease.
Business major, everyone.
Exactly, finance. Frat boy part 2. But one of the study, I was reading a study out of Canada that smoking cannabis, certain strains will actually not allow the corona virus latch onto
The receptors.
certain receptors within the body.
Yep.
I don't quote me on this, but I believe it's the ACE2 receptor. And there was one other one. I don't have it up in front of me. That essentially they reduce the chance of corona latching onto these receptors. And this was proven before corona, that these receptors are less likely to become attached to any virus or anything if you use cannabis.
That's interesting. That's super interesting. I saw something like that, but I thought it was related to nicotine though.
I don't know. Nicotine, the thing is, nicotine itself is just an addictive substance, but it has very stimulating qualities. So you'll see like a lot of people actually like chew nicotine gum, not because they're addicted, but because it actually helps them focus. Like I know I've chewed nicotine gum before while studying, just to give me that little edge. It's like, a little bit of Addy. Like,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was gonna say. It's Addy Light. Addy Light.
Addy Light. So, it's Addy Light right then and there. But of the study, what I thought was interesting is they were doing it on specific strains. So they were actually testing 12 specific strains that reduce the chance of becoming infected from the coronavirus. So it basically proves, or not, okay, it doesn't basically prove, but it shows that there is a whole field of study that each terpene within the cannabis plant has different qualities and different use cases. So you could up certain terpene and the entire effect of the plant medically will be different. Not like just a high or just
Right.
like if it's a sativa or an indica, but it's going to be a whole effect on your mental state and on the way that your body reacts. And hopefully help with inflammation levels, help with nausea, possibly have cancer treatment effects, and maybe even further effects with autoimmune diseases and even neurodegenerative diseases, because there's a lot of studies being done now on cannabis and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. And the effects of that at a younger age of smoking cannabis, at an older age, and once you develop the disease. And I think the only thing that I know is like proven that you need to stay away from cannabis is if you have any form of schizophrenia within the family.
I've heard about that too. I've heard
Yeah.
it like triggers it earlier, even
Yes.
possibly. But you're 100% right, and I think the reason that the United States at least is not up to date with their medical use of cannabis is simply because for years and years it was looked at as this sort of terror drug, this sort of, oh, those hippies, look at them, they're getting stoned and now they're potatoes. There used to be an ad where it would literally be like just a person, they took a rip from something and then they melted. They just flattened out onto the couch. And to be honest, sometimes you do be melting into the couch. It does happen.
But it's not how they portray it. Like you melt into the couch and you just like melt into the environment and you just like, you watch Star Wars 4 times or like, you play FIFA and you lose 27-0 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Only good things come from it. Clearly.
As long as you don't like order Domino's or anything, you're good.
Yeah, straight up. Hey, the munchies.
Exactly.
Be scared. Be scared.
I mean, the U.S. definitely has gone better with its medical use of cannabis.
I agree.
I know the first medical dispensary opened up was by a functional medicine doctor that I follow very well, Dr. Weil, Weil, I believe his name is spelled.
Maybe it's like wheel.
I think it's Weil. I always pronounce it incorrectly.
Whatever.
But he's a genius, and he's opened up one of the first medical dispensaries in the U.S. And he started this, I want to say 60s, 70s, around that time period. So it's been a long time, and now you see dispensaries everywhere, from the first one opening up 40, 50 years ago, and now we see them everywhere. We're just going to have to see once, like New York, like it's very difficult to put them in certain regions. Like New York City, it's very hard to put a dispensary there because of all the regulations. You can't be near a school, near a park, near a fire station, police station.
Right, and every other block is one of those. So you have to just be very, very careful about the positioning of your store. However, I do think that I'd say definitely within this year, or definitely by the end of 2021, I think personally, New York will be fully legalized for recreational use.
The mental effects of Corona right now.
Oh my God!
Because the thing is, people don't realize that marijuana helps you with anxiety throughout the day. And the thing is, I personally don't smoke marijuana to feel high, like for the high. It's for the perspective you have when you're sober. And that's why, like, it's just different effects, and people are going to realize that you feel better sober afterwards. So they're going to smoke it for the medicinal effects, for the additional perspective they gain from smoking or using whatever. I know edibles are becoming a big thing now, which is a different high, which is something we need to talk about another
time.
But they also they're doing medical tinctures now mixed with THC and CBD.
Yep.
Which they're doing for a lot of medicinal use cases, anything from like Crohn's to cancer effects and cancer treatment and everything. But it's going to be, I think they have to make it recreational because first off, all the mental effects. We've been talking about this suicide rate is extremely high right now, especially in the younger age group right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a young person and you're locked in at home for 2 entire months with people that you are happy to go to school to leave and not see every single hour of every single day, and suddenly now you're in a situation where for the past 2 months, you've seen these people, maybe not every single hour, but all the time. You're seeing them at least for a couple of hours, a bunch more hours than you would normally see them a day. And dude, it is dangerous. And I said this right in the beginning. I knew this was coming because anyone who feels some sort of depression or something, they usually rely on the people in their lives to keep them afloat. And now you excluded them to their personal, just in their mind, they're just, whatever's going on in their brain is just gonna be something that they have to deal with alone. And that is the worst possible place for someone who's suicidal, who is depressed, is anxious. That's the worst place for anyone like that to be. Because the second you exile yourself from the rest of your peers, your friends, whoever it is that might be keeping you sane, it's just very dangerous. And as you could see, the suicide rate, like you said, skyrocketed.
I just looked it up on online therapy company called Talkspace, reported a 65% increase in clients since mid-February, since Corona has really been prevalent in the US through text messages and transcribed therapy sessions. And this is all related to Corona-related anxiety.
Yep.
Which is nuts. And then tying it also back up, there was a study that began in late 2007 that basically for every percentage point of increase in unemployment, which right now the unemployment is absurd.
Yeah,
There was
the highest it's been in what, like
it's the Great Depression, I
10.
believe, or a
Ooh.
Great Recession. I don't want
Hey, if you're
to.
depressed or recessed, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
But for every single percentage point of increase in unemployment rate, there's a 1.6% increase in the suicide rate.
Yeah, I mean that also makes sense. You get
Yeah.
laid off from your job. You've been working there for I don't know how long. Let's even go as far as to say tens of years maybe, and you got laid off because of this virus. And think about it. Now, I don't know based on people's specific financial situations and everything. Let's say you're a single man and you just got laid off after working at a job for almost 10 years and you don't have anything saved up, you've been living in the city, it's super expensive, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And suddenly you find yourself no money, no job. Like what? Not like what else can you do? But that's the point that people reach, that they're thinking to themselves like, hey, I don't know if it's worth like staying alive. I don't have a job. I'm not gonna have any money. I'm not gonna be able to live the way I want, with happiness, with the the style that I want to live. And that's just as dangerous as Corona, I think.
I think it's more dangerous because this corona, hopefully, knock on wood, it's going to be gone within, well, not gone, but we'll have a treatment. We'll have something similar to Theraflu, but for the coronavirus. And that will be solved. But the idea of suicides and these extreme rates of anxiety and depression within the world now, because it's not just the US affected by it, it's the entire world. And it's just going to be a completely different society, I feel. When we come out of it, people are just going to definitely have changed perspectives on everything. And this was a study done during the 2007, 2008 Great Recession, which we started podcasts talking about. And it's very interesting to see how all these major events are all interrelated in certain aspects. Even we were talking about 9/11 and how the anxiety levels were through the roof after that. And the just idea of living in New York City after that was absurd. And now I don't know how people, like, I personally have lived in the city for the past, well, I would say 3 years, but it was more 2.5.
Cut a little
yeah,
short.
it was cut short. But just, we lived in super close quarters. Like, you're going to pack people into an elevator and that's it. The city is so small and there are so many people there that you're always coming in contact. And the thing is, you build up an immune system, but it's not enough for certain diseases. You still will get sick, and it's just a different way of living we're going to have. It's going to be a more hygiene and more germophobic thing, like we said before.
Yeah. Back to like suicide rates going up though. Honestly, I think there's another big factor that we've overlooked slightly, and that's definitely entertainment. There's no source of entertainment. Whatever you're watching is stuff you could have watched before Corona. I mean, Netflix and Hulu and like direct to on-demand movies and stuff are coming out, but other than that, no sports basically. I mean, thank God for UFC.
We got a couple of weeks.
Oh, yes.
We got a couple of weeks to La Liga, the Prem.
The
You're
Prem.
hype. Yo, just give them title Liverpool already. They could have considered just giving Liverpool the title and canceling the season for everyone's health.
I agree. Did you see that that Troy Deeney and a bunch of the Watford players felt uncomfortable? Yeah, they're not trying to train.
Conte from Chelsea.
Yeah, that's like their best player.
Yeah.
That's a huge blow for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, it's just gonna. I mean, the disease is changing everything in society as we know it, and now it's gonna change everything also in entertainment as we know it.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that as many TV shows and as many movies are going to be produced and come out after all this is over? Because I think they're going to stop trying to make so much to watch and so much to use as a source of entertainment, because, like, what, you're gonna put a camera crew, all the actors, everyone they know at risk
Yeah.
by doing this.
I think, like I was saying before, I think that for 2020, we shouldn't expect too many movies to come out for 2021. And possibly 2022, we shouldn't expect major movies to come out. I know there are a bunch of big movies being filmed right now. I know Sylvester Stallone was part of one, and he's been posting about how his crew hasn't been able to film. But I do think that we will return to a germophobic norm, but still a norm by 2022, just because it will settle down by then. Everyone will still remember what's going on. Like I said, certain things, like if you drop your food on the table, you're going to throw it out. If you're at a bar or a club, you're not putting your drink down. You're either finishing it or you're holding it the entire time with your hand over the top like this. Like I remember in Italy, they're well known, not well known, but there's a lot of occurrences of date rape drugs.
Right.
And when you're at a bar or a club there, they literally tell you, hold your drinks like this because you never know.
Oh, wait, you're not supposed to hold drinks like that? That's how I've been doing it since I was little.
Hey, it works then. If it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been date rape drugged, so
yeah,
that I know of. That I know of.
Yeah, well,
so,
I mean, thankfully me too, but let's keep it that way.
Yeah, straight up.
Well, I mean, the Bundesliga has, they've already came back. Borussia is killing it. Bayern is killing it. And they have this new thing, the artificial noise and the crowds.
Yeah. It's been weird. I watched a few games and you suddenly hear like, yeah. And it's just like background noise, and then you see the stands from like a bunch of different angles, and it's just empty. The entire stadium's empty. You can literally see like the team's names like in the seats, like the way they set up, and it's just been very interesting to see sports come back. I mean, also if we're talking about sports and having it weird because of the lack of fans and the lack of ability to go live and see this, let's talk about UFC.
Yeah.
How weird was that? You could literally hear the coaches and the trainers telling their fighters exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I mean, they have those like coach cameras and like the coach mics and everything anyway.
Doesn't work.
It's a different thing. Thing is, like, I was a college athlete. I played 3 years of soccer for Brew, and
big goalie vibes.
Goalie vibes.
He's a keeper, ladies. Oh, that was such a bad joke.
I love it. But definitely the crowd makes such a difference. Like, I remember, like, when we had huge crowds, everyone would play better. Everyone was way more into the game. You're more focused. Obviously, like, you can't communicate as well, especially as a goalkeeper and defenders. We're yelling at each other constantly.
Right.
But it's just you get such a good vibe when you have an audience, which is why I'm happy the Bundesliga is doing these artificial crowds. The UFC, I don't know, these men are crazy. They're they're super freak animals, and the sport is, I don't even know how to describe it. So you have to be so brave to get into a cage with another 200. Well, it obviously matters what weight class, but another trained killer.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I feel like there's a different level of focus for that versus soccer. And I don't know, like, I haven't watched too much UFC before quarantine, but I haven't seen a big drop in quality. Like, I've watched the big fights. Like, everyone watches Conor when he has the big fight, especially like his latest fight against like Cowboy and all that. But I haven't seen a major drop in quality in the fights. I'm not sure if that's because it doesn't matter if there's a crowd or not for that sport, because you're still getting paid with the pay-per-view. And with soccer, it's just a different perspective. You hear everything around you. People are yelling at you what to do. I'm not sure what it is with fighting, if it's the same way.
I think it might be very different in the sense that it even might be different based on the person, to be honest. It might be like one person who's who's very good at losing their sense of like of self, and they're just enthralled in their craft. They're just ready to fight, and and it doesn't matter if there's a crowd, if there isn't a crowd, it doesn't matter. You're all you can hear is your own brain going, kill this man, kill this man, kill this man. But
Yeah.
at the same time, there are definitely people, well, not just people, but like you said, like soccer teams and stuff like that. Like that's why they call crowds the 12th man.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the biggest factors. Like that's why home and away games are a huge factor, because when you're at home, you have your home fans. You're trying to make them proud, to not disappoint. These are people who support you, who no matter what are going to be yelling out your name.
The Borussia yellow wall, man, they're crazy.
And
that's the greatest fan base in the world, without a doubt.
Hey, come on. Come on.
Yeah, Liverpool's all right, but I'm not even a Borussia fan. I'm a Man U fan. I'm a Real fan. Us Real fans are assholes.
Yeah, straight up.
Assholes, man. Like Bale, who's won his Champions Leagues, great player, scores a bicycle kick and everything, and we still whistle at him for every little thing he does.
Yeah. Hey, let the man golf. Let the man golf.
We're crazy. I mean, I personally still think we should keep them, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, the fans have had such a different perspective and have changed the sports, which is interesting to see now.
I honestly think I knock on wood or whatever. I'm not really superstitious like that, but I honestly think that going back to Anfield and Liverpool playing is gonna be calm down there. Wait, where are you on the table?
How many Premier League titles do you have?
One.
No, not yet. You need one more win.
Coming soon to theaters near me. But no, but straight up, I think it's gonna be like a very weird experience for these Liverpool players who, like, bro,
How tight would you be if you guys just don't win another game?
Not gonna happen. I think it's honestly, very, very honestly, I think the team is way too good. Every individual player who starts, even players on the bench, are good enough to be starters on basically any team in the world.
Yeah.
And when you have a team with depth like that, you're probably not going to lose the rest of your games in this extended Corona season. But I do think, however, it's going to be a lot more of a struggle than usual, because I think Liverpool's fans and the Liverpool players have such a great relationship that, the players are really trying their best. You could see, you'll rarely see Liverpool players like walking on the field.
Yeah.
Rarely. These guys are running, Mo Salah and Mane coming back to defend.
Yeah.
Bobby doesn't even play striker. You might as well say Zakan. But, like these are things that, at other clubs, you don't have the same heart, because you don't have the same relationship with the fans. And I really hope I'm wrong, and I really hope that whatever I say is about to be stupid. And any Liverpool fans watching and listening right now, I hope later in the season you tell me, Saar, you're fucking dumb. But I really think that without the fans, Liverpool might take a hit in terms of how well they play.
Oh, without a doubt. I think everyone will. Everyone's going to get hit. But the thing is everyone going to get hit evenly?
Definitely not. I think Liverpool, would be right up there with Borussia and a bunch of other teams who have that great fan to player relationship, are going to get hit super, super hard.
Yeah.
And then some teams who maybe don't have the best relationship with their fans might end up really, really making a lot of progress during the latter half of this extended season.
And maybe the fan base will grow.
True, absolutely. And I think it's a great time for all these sports to start trickling back, because this is what people have been looking for. everybody's just been bored at home, or like maybe even you found something to do, you work out a little. Like, okay, that's 2 hours of your day. Let's say you sleep for 8 hours, that's 10 hours of a 24-hour day covered. Okay, what are you doing for 14 hours? Well, yeah, straight up. Get a little green machine going
Yeah,
on.
a little bit, you know. That pineapple deadhead OG that you know.
Woo! Yeah, I mean, dude, but even so, like, what do you do? What, are you just watching like old videos of
Yeah,
stuff,
you gotta
playing
watch
video
those.
games? Like, how much video game time can you have per day? How
It's
much? People are
pretty
looking
important.
for other sources of entertainment now, and I think it's perfect for all these high level sports coming back.
No, it's definitely, yeah. Corona's had huge effect on that, and I think. Do you think the Prem would have been canceled if Liverpool won that like one game that they needed to win?
Maybe.
I think they. I
No,
think
I
they,
actually I think it wouldn't have been.
why?
It wouldn't have been, just because if they won that game, they would have had a legitimate shot at Arsenal's Invincibles streak, right?
Okay.
So it would have been better for the Prem in terms of like profit to continue the season, because people were so invested in seeing where the season was going,
Yeah.
and seeing how far can Liverpool get before losing a game, how far can the amount of points they amass, yeah, how high
Oh, they're
can
gonna
this
break
be?
100.
Oh, I really hope so.
They will.
Make
They're
those
gonna,
Man City cucks look
uh,
stupid.
they're gonna make Pep look stupid, man. That's it. Especially
Yes.
they're not gonna be in Champions League next season, so they're gonna lose everyone.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna
I think
lose.
I think De Bruyne might leave. Might be the
He
first.
might go to Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my God! If he does, I think it's over for the next 3 or 4
Oh
years.
yeah, you guys are gonna
But
win the Champions League right away.
I think De Bruyne might leave England. I think he might go to a different league. And I know
Where, like a Real
he
Barca?
played in Bundes, right? He was on Wolfsburg,
Yeah,
and he was excellent for them. And then he went to Man City, and obviously he's had an incredible
yeah.
career for Belgium. He's been, I think, the most incredible of the three, possibly.
Belgium?
Um, his play for Belgium
Really?
might
Oh
I
yeah,
think might be better than
yeah.
how he plays for Man City.
He's more consistent with Belgium. I
Yep,
would say that.
yep,
Definitely. But we always forget he was at Chelsea before
yeah, he was.
City, and he was trash there.
But that goes to show the power that the right club and the right manager and the right the right everything,
Yeah.
like some players are incredible and undeniable. You can't look at a Messi or a Ronaldo and say, oh, but if he went to this team he wouldn't be as good. Oh, but if he went here he wouldn't be playing at a high level.
Messi and Ronaldo would be scoring 99 goals a season. It doesn't matter if they're playing for Real or if they're playing for some third division Afghani team.
I
Like,
agree.
it doesn't matter. They're scoring crazy amounts of goal with or without the support they have, and against top teams.
Yep. But like I was saying, the amount of perfection of timing for everything for De Bruyne in the past few years has been great for him. I mean, I'm very happy, and I hate the dude. I really wish he was worse.
He was a Liverpool player.
Yeah, bro. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I just think maybe he'll go to like a bigger club. Oh my
Who
God.
needs him right now? Who, Real? Real,
No,
Barca
nobody.
would need him.
Hey, listen. I mean, it's not about who needs him. It's about like
Who's going to pay for it?
what he does exactly. Who can pay for it, which is not a lot of people, obviously, because he's probably the best center midfielder in the world.
Yeah.
I'd say there's very, very few people who. I think he's definitely top 3 midfielders in the world, and I think there are very few people who can compete with him in a sense that the impact he has on games is
Even off the ball.
incredible. And when you have a player like this now, he's established himself at City. He was pretty good at Wolfsburg. Chelsea, not so good. But there's a time for everything to go right. And if it's going right for you, you can be the biggest if you want. And right now, he's the biggest. And I think if he wants to go play at, let's say, even PSG, I think he'd be making a ton of money. He'd be winning leagues back and forth.
They would probably
Champions League attempts, like everything. Now that's what he's looking for. He's won the Prem. He's won
3 times.
I think.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's either 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Because there was the back-to-back, but I'm not sure if he was on the team. I don't think he was on the team in the earlier part of like Aguero's career there, where they also won like a bunch. But that's Yaya Toure, bro.
Yeah, he wasn't there with Yaya Toure. He wasn't there with Balotelli.
No. Oh my God, Balotelli.
Yeah.
Dude, I think he's gonna go to MLS.
No way. He should.
I don't see a reason why not to.
He's not even 30, and he's good. He could stay in France. He could go to Italy. He's in Italy now, or France?
He's in Italy. I think he plays for Brescia.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember he was playing for Nice for a little bit, and he scored like 20 goals a season around there for Nice, and that's
Nice really Nice was a very good team.
Yeah, they were competing for like a top 3 spot, I think, with him on the team. But yeah, we'll see. And we're can't like knock out the option of De Bruyne staying in City even without Champions League and becoming a legend. He would be a legend right away.
I definitely agree, but I think he's looking for that next step, and it's literally one of the only things he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Like other than an international title, and that's tough because you have teams like Spain back in the day, and then
Brazil,
there was Germany, who was
Argentina.
insane. Exactly. You have the big South American teams, you have the huge European teams, and then Belgium, don't get me wrong, is definitely top class, but something always happens at the end of their like tournament trials and tournament like attempts that they just fall off the rails at some point, and once it starts creaking, they combust.
Well, let's be honest, for 2018, the real final was France versus Belgium.
Yep.
That was a way more entertaining game than France versus Croatia. And nothing against Croatia. It's just that Belgium had an amazing tournament. They have everyone. They have Courtois in goal.
Of course.
Top 5 goalkeeper.
Yeah.
They have
Vertonghen and
Ben. No.
They have both. They have both of them. They're both on. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting.
2 people on Tottenham, right?
There's Jan Vertonghen, and then there's the other one who also started. Toby Alderweireld.
Yeah.
Yes,
and they had company for the 2018 World Cup.
Right.
Who legendary player, even as a Man U fan, I have to say that.
Yeah, facts. Liverpool fan, gotta agree.
And then they have Hazard, Axel Witsel, they have Lukaku.
Yeah. The team. Right. The other Hazard is also getting on now. Oh my God. Yeah. Did you see his goal? It was just a tap in.
I haven't.
Hey man, he's hype.
Yeah, the Borussia game where they won 6-1. I haven't watched that yet.
Oh my
highlights,
dude. Sancho, just unfair. Did you see? Yo, I felt so bad for Kai Havertz because he literally just this past game broke the record for most goals by a player under. No, I think it was under 21. Yeah, and then Sancho scores a hat trick and breaks that. Like he literally had the record for like 24 hours, and then he just got fucked out of it. I was in shock.
But this is great. These players are our age and setting world records.
Straight up. I'm so excited to
We
see.
got another 10 years of them at least.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be weird to see like if players stayed in shape during Corona.
I mean, that's basically what happened. That's why Sancho wasn't starting for the first few
Yeah.
games. He wasn't in form for play, so they
Yeah.
put him on as a sub. They got him that little bit in form, and now he's back to starting. But man, I can't help but think, could the Dortmund Bayern game have been
Oh, it would
a
have been way different.
lot more different if Sancho was playing 90 minutes instead of half an hour?
Yeah. No, 100%. Sancho's one of the best players, like you said. 21 years old or 20 years old, setting all these world records of how many goals? He has like over 35 goals, either assists or goals this season.
I think right now in this season he has 20 and 20,
40.
which is, oh my
40
god, insane.
creations, 40 goal contributions, which that's
Ridiculous.
absurd.
Ridiculous.
Anywhere at any age, 40 goals. But yeah, that's going to be a major thing because some people were staying in shape during quarantine. Some people were working out and going on runs.
And some people were going into the after quarantine like Hazard went into the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you know, he just got gain 20 pounds, run on the belly, and get a beer gut, and that's it. That's a face to 11.
Hey, man, it does happen. It does happen.
Oh, well, it's going to be cool to see, and especially, like, just people around us. Like, I want to see who's not fat.
Straight up. Yo, I like lost 10 pounds since like the beginning of quarantine. I've been like, listen, bro.
You've been biking though.
The cardio.
Yeah, I've been working out a lot.
I know. Hashtag home gym.
Yeah, I set up a little garage gym. I put on like 10 pounds since quarantine.
Sick. Hey, bro, it's bulking season.
Yeah, man. But no, it's going to be cool to see who stayed in shape, who was working out, and then our friends who, you know, just sat on a couch and smoked weed.
Yeah, for 2 entire months.
It's true. I mean, we might not be let out for another month, so it could be 3 months.
Yeah, true. I mean, dude, it's gonna be really weird to see New York back and open. It's gonna, like, especially once everything is done and is over with, the way the city is gonna interact is gonna be super weird.
It's gonna be so different, and especially like we have international people everywhere in the city.
Yep.
So how are these people going to be coming in, coming out? Is there going to be some way of checking their temperatures or if they have a disease or something? And New York City, like I said, it's just such close quarters, and most people have roommates because you can't afford an apartment in the city on your own unless you're making guap. By the way, subscribe to this podcast and give us guap.
Straight up, please. Please.
Yeah, most people in the city are not gonna have enough money to live on their own, so they're living with roommates. And if one person is gonna be exposed, everyone's gonna be exposed. Like I was living with 2 roommates. The year before, I was living with 3 roommates.
Right.
And yeah, it's just there's so much potential to disease and exposure in the city.
Man, it's gonna be interesting. I haven't been to the city. Listen, like, straight up, I don't think there's been this much time that I haven't been to the city ever in my life.
Really?
Ever. I think since I was a kid. I mean, we lived in Queens, so that's like kind of the city, but not kind of. Shout out to all my Queens homies. But like, you know, when I was younger, we were always there, and then when we finally moved here to Valley Stream, you know, it was.
What year did you move?
It probably was like 2005 or 6.
Okay.
Because I vaguely remember being like 5 or 6 years old, so I like remember moving. You know?
Yeah.
So I had to have been at least 5. You know, like.
Okay.
But you know, it was always something. Like my parents, we would go visit our family friends in Queens every weekend. We'd go visit my aunt and uncle who lived in the city like every few weekends. We'd go visit our other family friends in the city like at least once a month, at least. so there was never a time in my life where I wasn't in the city, like basically every month.
Yeah.
And now has straight up been the longest amount of time I have not been in New York City. And as a New Yorker, it's atrocious, and I'm hurt physically,
mentally, emotionally. But I mean, I just went 2 times in 2 days for the first time in 2 months.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude, how was that? How was moving out?
It was weird. Like, I saw my neighbor. I saw a cool neighbor. Like, there were 3 neighbors that, like, I interacted with on my building. So I had this older lady to the left of my apartment, and she was much older. I felt like she had some type of hearing issue or something. She literally, like, she never called out like parties or anything. Like, she never even mentioned anything. But super nice lady. And then we had another lady, like, diagonal from us, and she was a G. She literally, like, she'll literally say, "Oh, I heard you guys had a nice party last night. Let me know. I'm gonna pull up next time. Gotta play pong with you guys." And I loved her. And I saw her when I was moving out. And I've never been like, "Oh, let me make sure I'm 6 feet away from her, mask on." Like, and then, oh, we're waiting for the elevator. Usually I just take the elevator with her. I can't.
Yeah. Dude, do you think that's going to be a thing? Do you think people in, like, office buildings are going to just be like, oh, one at a time in the elevator, send people, like, just guys standing in the corners, like one person in each corner?
Absolutely not. I don't know how it would work. Like, I know at Brew, we had these huge elevators that would fit, like, 20, 30, even 40 people sometimes. And we would pack in there. Like, the elevators were literally like
sardines, man.
We were literally sardines in there, sweating. And the elevators will only go to 3 floors. Even though we have 14, 15 floors in the main building. And the elevator would go to the 5th floor, to the 8th floor, and the 12th floor. And when anyone went out in the 5th floor, yo, World War III right there. You can't believe you gotta walk to the 5th floor. You can't take an elevator, squish in as sardines, just go up 4 flights of stairs. Like, what are you doing? Just walk.
God.
8, I understand. The 8th floor, okay, that makes sense. Obviously, it's 8 flights of stairs. And we had escalators. Why would you not take the escalators? The escalators only went to the 5th floor.
What?
So the escalators went to the 5th floor, and people would still get on the elevator to the 5th floor. Yeah, this is a heated topic for me. I don't know, man.
I can tell.
Because these people, they press it down, and then when they're stuck in the middle, and they're like, "Yo, can you press floor 5?" Everyone will just give them a look, like, "Oh, get out."
You instantly find yourself being the, like, next victim.
Yep. Yo, one time I just wanted someone, like, to say, "Hey, press the 5th floor," and someone just said, "No."
Just walk down 3 flights.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. Oh, that hits home, man. That argument, I haven't had arguments about that in 2 months.
Hey, at least that's a positive.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no way. Like, how would you fit 1 person or 2 people or even 4 people, 1 person in each corner?
Hey, you can't. It's not. It's the thing about the disease, especially, is that it's not built for city structures.
Yeah.
You know, like I guess it is built for that, because that's why it's such a successful virus, that it's able to infect so many people, that it's able to get so many people to the point of infecting others even. And when you're stacked on top of each other, and the entire city is what, like 2 square miles,
something like that, if not less. I think
right. I thought it was less. I thought it was 1 maybe.
I think it's 1.
But when you think about it, like, how is that possible? Wait. I think we're completely undershooting.
It's fine.
Wait, I think maybe Manhattan.
Manhattan, I think, is 1 or 2 square miles or something like that. Let's look it
I'm
up.
looking it up. It's 22 square miles.
We were
Wait,
so
really?
off. What
Wait,
the
maybe. Oh yeah. No, that kind of makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Manhattan's small. Maybe it's
Square miles though. That kind of makes sense because like a block is a square mile basically, no? Like maybe 2 blocks.
no blocking the
An
city.
avenue is a square mile, maybe.
That
Maybe.
I think we're just spitting bullshit at this point.
That's fine. It'd be like that.
Yeah, my ass is getting jealous.
Straight up.
Of all the shit coming out, but yeah, it's gonna be weird to see how the city is. Because when I was there, like I said, like we're like even people I knew that I was seeing there, you had to be 6 feet away. You couldn't be near them. There were mask like what's called like not advertisement like things that said you have to wear a mask, like signs of that all over my apartment building, all over the city. Even the Starbucks, I went to go get Starbucks. You can't even walk into the Starbucks. They set up the cash register at the front of the store. They moved it. Yeah. So you can't even, like, all the chairs are up. You can't even go back. So when they make you your drink, they walk from all the way back to the front, make your drink or whatever, or go from the front to the back and then back to the front, make your drink, and give it to you like that. But you're not even allowed in the store.
I mean, listen, it's to stay safe, and
Yeah.
to that extent, I completely understand why people would be, worried about things like that. Would be thinking about, hey, I'm not trying to walk into Starbucks with 30 other people right now.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be in like Delhi with 20 other people with 15
the delis
people.
were open. The deli, like you were able to walk in and like be fine.
But still, wasn't it like 6 feet and everything?
Yeah, it was 6 feet apart, and everyone was wearing a mask, and everything. So, it was pretty safe, but I just thought it was a good idea from Starbucks, that they didn't let us walk into the store. But deli, like, I don't know, like a deli or a grocery store or something like that, you have to walk in. Like, I wonder, how are grocery stores, like, are they going to keep that thing where only a certain amount of people? Probably not for much longer.
I really hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not, because my parents have been going to Costco and, like,
Oh.
Costco trips that have been historically an hour, 10-minute drive there, shopping for 40 minutes ish, 10-minute drive back, like hour, maybe if pushing it, hour and a half, you know? Now it's like, they'll be like, okay, we're going to Costco, see you tomorrow. Like, what?
Well, Costco line, we haven't been to Costco yet, for this quarantine.
It's bad.
We ordered from Costco.
Nice.
Costco's doing deliveries.
Yeah.
Well, what they do, like, nothing bad about Costco, just saying that you gotta let us know when you're replacing items.
Hey, talk shit when you talk shit, yo. Hit Costco hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hurt them because they are delivering during the quarantine, during this pandemic, so it gotta be nice to them. But
yeah, for real, Costco the go. Shout out, wholesale, baby, yeah.
Exactly, but we ordered from them once, but yeah, we've really been going to Trader Joe's, and that's it. Target delivers. Shout out to Target. They don't even replace anything. They give you what you want.
Nice. Shout out Target. Yo, I think we should end on shout out Target.
Shout out Target.
The next thing.
Shout out to our brothers podcast one more time for all the viewers.
We already did earlier, yo. It's fine. I think anyone who it's whatever.
Anyways,
Anyways, I think that was a pretty solid first go at this. I think we did a solid job. We clearly did not find a lack in topics.
Why don't we say bye first, and then I'll stop recording.
It's bad.
So, guys, thank you for listening to the first episode of the Zugzwang.
Shout out everyone.
Shout out to everyone. My name's Elliot, and this is my boy.
Song.
We'll see
and we
you
out
soon.